What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to Thursday night's late night agenda, where I hope life is treating you well. No doubt we've got a lot to get through tonight. We're going to be speaking about the links to Leroy Sané and asking why. We're going to be speaking about Martin Zubimendi. We're going to be talking about the contract situation and lots more over the course of the next 90 minutes or so. As always, whether you're watching this live or you're watching this back later on, we do want to know your thoughts, so let me know in the comment section. Drop a like on the video, and of course, please do hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Right, so look, there's a load to get through. And don't shoot the messenger, by the way, because I absolutely am not wanting Leroy Sané anywhere near Liverpool Football Club. We'll talk about the link, we'll talk about where it came from, but I'm with all of you, because I've been reading the comments before we went live, and everybody's on the same page here. Why would you want Sané? It doesn't make sense, except for one person who thinks it does, and we'll get to that in a while. Suleiman Khan, first super chat of the night, bro. Thank you very much. So George Mendes offers Antonio Silva to Liverpool. I mean, I wouldn't say no, mate. I very much wouldn't, but I would be extremely doubtful, Suleiman, that we'd pony up the dough that it would take to get him from Benfica. But, you know me, mate. I'm a fan of him and have been for a long time. But I do think if we are looking at bringing in another centre-back, it is probably going to be somebody around that age profile, but will we pay that much money? That's, yeah, I doubt that, to be honest. Sane is a brilliant player. Look, Sane is injury prone, a flash in the pan, not good enough for us, not somebody that we should be talking about, not somebody that should be being linked to us. Just no. Is a massive no from me on Sane. But I guess we got to talk about where the link comes from, right? And see if we think there's any sense to it. So I think it belongs on Bullshit Island for two reasons. One, because I know for a fact that Liverpool aren't interested in Leroy Sané. And two, well, because the link comes from Germany, and that should tell us pretty much all we need to know. So, this coming in from Christian Falk of, well, Bilk, I think, or Sport Build, excuse me. They say, now it's clear that Leroy Sané is a serious option being considered by Liverpool. I've heard that Liverpool are looking for a player with experience, a player that can immediately follow the steps of Mohamed Salah. Yeah, not happening. It's not happening. Christian Falk can talk as much shite as he wants. This is not happening. For various reasons. One, the age profile. Why would we need to bring in a 28-year-old attacker? Why? Makes no sense. We've got Mohamed Salah, who looks like he's going to extend. We've got plenty of options on the left side. We've got young attacking players coming through. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever why Liverpool would look at Leroy Sané. I don't even want to get into the attitude stuff because I don't know him, so I don't know if he has attitude issues. But I do know he certainly had plenty of injury concerns, and I would say that, yes, on his day, he's a great footballer, but this to me just makes no sense whatsoever. So I'm going to say this is basically just Christian Falk trying to help out Bayern Munich and stir up a little bit of interest, maybe, perhaps, because, nah, not for me. I don't see it being a realistic one. Again, though, feel free to let me know if you guys disagree in the comments. Liam said, seeing the Jonathan David links you spoke about the other day, as a Canadian it's hard to say it, but I've seen him play dozens of times, nowhere near the level another non-clinical striker don't need. And Liam, thank you for two things, mate. Obviously for the super chat, bro, really appreciate that. But also thank you so much for being honest about it, because look, I'm Irish. If there's any type of a decent Irish player, I'll overhype them. I will. I know I will. I'm Irish. That's what my job to do. But with Jonathan David, I've never seen the attraction. Never. Every time I look, he does score quite a bit, but quite a lot of them seem to be penalties that I'm seeing. And when I've watched them, whether it be for the Canadian national team or a handful of times for Lille, I've not really been that impressed. Now, I'm going to get a chance to have a look at him up close because he will be coming to Anfield with Lille. And we're going to be going to that game in January. But I appreciate your honesty, Lee, because I wouldn't have him at Liverpool either, to be honest with you. Mike said, when does Newland's next Mykonos residency begin? Summer. You know, always the summer. You know, mate, he's huge over the summer months. You know, there's a reason why you don't see him July and August, and it's not because we don't make content. We can't afford him. In peak seasons, the fees that Newland commands, mate, we just couldn't afford them. But thank you, Mike. Appreciate you. So, look, what are we saying about Leroy Sané? Should we start off with a little poll on Leroy Sané? Let's have a look at this and see how you're feeling about it. Right, simple question. Would you take Sane at Liverpool? Go yes or no. By the way, with regards to a forward, if you watched our video earlier on, you've probably seen me hinting towards one specific forward. And you're now starting to see more and more of this name coming out on social media about it getting closer and closer to Liverpool. I don't know, maybe making that move. And that is, of course, Omar Marmoush. So we'll probably talk about him a little bit as the night goes on tonight as well. Because if I was to put my 50 quid on the table on a name, that's the name where my money be going. Duran to Liverpool. It's not going to happen. Like some of the things I see in the comments are funny, quite frankly. So why would Villa sell Duran at this point? Would be madness for them. They've wealthy owners and they've already had to sort out their own PSR stuff. So I don't think he's going to be an option. But another name that was in the chat is Gyökeres. And I can only say this so many times before I bore everyone. But Victor Gyökeres will not be coming to Liverpool Football Club. The club have no interest in him. You know, I can only repeat what I've been told numerous times. I can see why people are talking about him. Of course I can. You don't put up numbers like that without, you know, getting the attention of people. But he's just not the right player for us, and he's not somebody that Liverpool have looked at. And I also think it would be a massive gamble to go from one signing from the Portuguese league that had one great season and then fell away to bringing in another. I know they're different types of players, but it'd be very risky, and I just don't see us taking that risk, to be honest. So it won't be Victor Gyökeres. David Massett, how are you, bro? Don't want Sane near our club, thanks, but no thanks. So David, look, I'm with you, but I'll be honest. When he signed for Manchester City from Schalke, I would have had him at that point. I can't lie, mate. I would have been all over Liverpool signing Leroy Sané when he was at Schalke before he made that move to Man City. But that feels like a lifetime ago. That whole move and then the Manchester City stuff. And then, of course, he's moved over to Bayern. And look, it suits him, the German league. So I'd say just stay there if you're him. Maybe see if you can get yourself a move to Dortmund or something. I don't know, but I certainly don't want him near Liverpool either at this point, Dave. Would you take Marmoush and Pedro as a pair? I like João Pedro, but I have some concerns. I wouldn't be 100% convinced that João Pedro is that guy. He's had some injury concerns as well. And it is another big step up to Liverpool from the likes of Brighton. But he's got something about him. I'll say that. I don't think we need a pair though. Like, honestly, I think we've got space to bring in one forward if we move Darwin on. And again, our information is that in the summer we will look to do that with Darwin. So I think we'll be bringing in one forward. Sonko, who we're going to speak about tonight, that may be an option, but from a different perspective, maybe with a view to the future. And we'll move on to speak about Mamadou Sonko in a little bit. Right, a couple more super chats flying in that I want to just catch up with before I forget. Liam said, let's not forget the same Sane issue. I'm going to try this again, Liam, because I'm butchering your super chat, bro. Let's not forget the issues Sane had with Mane. Yes, that as well. I just don't like this link, and it just smacks to me, Liam, of Christian Falk over there trying to do a solid for Bayern Munich. That's, to me, just makes no sense. Benjamin, and thank you, mate, so much. That's an incredibly generous super chat, mate. 35 Canadian or New Zealand dollars. Thank you. Said, hey Craig, after seeing Melissa Reddy's review on Trent, I spoke to my mate in Spain and he said there's been no mention of Trent in the press since the Madrid game. He also said the English media talk more than the Spanish. I would disagree on the second part of that, Benjamin. But you know what? On that, Benjamin, let's see what Melissa Reddy did say. Because I have some of the transcript here from Melissa Reddy speaking about Trent. And look, it's a bit worrying, to be honest with you, but I'm going to read it out nonetheless, so let me just bring it across. So, speaking about contract situations at Liverpool, Melissa Reddy of Sky Sports was saying this. I think with Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk, it's been so unequivocal that they want to stay. They've never given any indication otherwise. To my knowledge, there's no negotiation with any external clubs that have been focused on Liverpool. They have been focused on Liverpool. That is the inverse with Trent Alexander-Arnold, because Real Madrid are heavily invested in getting him. And he is seduced by that idea. You can't really blame him for being so. He's achieved quite a lot with Liverpool. So I'm going to pause here for a second, because I agree with a lot of what Melissa Reddy says. I think she's a fantastic journalist, but I disagree on this part, because she said you can't really blame him for being seduced. Well, you can, Melissa, because we've seen how this hasn't worked out for others when Barcelona or Real Madrid have come flashing and fluttering their eyes, and they come out of favour very quickly and they get thrown under the bus. So I think Trent should be mindful of that. But carrying on, Melissa Reddy said, and in the interviews he's given recently, some of the statements he's been putting out, it's very much like I'm listening to a Real Madrid sales pitch being given back to me. They did it with Mbappe, they did it with Bellingham, and all the words they used in those charm offences, I'm hearing back from Trent in these interviews. So you would feel how you'd feel at his age, given what he's already achieved at Liverpool, that he could go there and create something great. Or, Melissa, he could stay here and create something great and actually be idolised for it. Potentially, said Melissa, at the moment that's what it looks like. Liverpool would not be able to give him the financial and commercial exposure that he could get at Madrid. Again, I'm going to pause, because I think we would. I think Liverpool would absolutely be able to give him the commercial exposure, financially, of course, and with sponsors that he get at Real Madrid, where he simply just wouldn't be a top dog. The alternative view of that is that he can let go of the emotional connection to his boyhood club that he stands to captain. Would winning elsewhere mean as much as it would for him at Liverpool? And can he guarantee that if he goes to Madrid, he's a seamless sort of slotting in, because it's not been that way for Mbappe? But he is the wild card. He's still the one that you can't really read, whereas the other two, I'd be staggered if either of them didn't stay. So, going back over that, I would say this. She's right in that nobody can get a read on the Trent situation. You know, I would say that's fair for most people I've spoken to. Every time I've asked David about it, he said that if Liverpool had any indication that he was edging towards Madrid or wanted to move to Madrid, they wouldn't still be negotiating. So I've said all the way through this, whatever Trent decides, it's his career, it's his future. But if he drags this out, let's say we don't hear something this month and it goes into January or February, I think it's going to end up kicking back bad on him. If he came out and said, right, look, I feel this way, I want to try this move, it's been a really difficult time, but ultimately I only get one career and I want to try it. I'm not saying we'd all be very forgiving of it. I'm not saying we'd all just pat him on the back and say, off you go. But it would certainly be a lot more palatable than coming out and feeling like we've been manipulated a little bit or intentionally misled. Or I don't want that to happen, because this is a difficult situation for Trent. Honestly, I feel like if he goes to Madrid, he is going to look back on it and regret it, but it is his choice to make. Carl said, most of us said no to Gravenberch, if you remember. I don't think this is a comparable, Carl, because with Gravenberch, you're talking about a youngster who had the potential to succeed, but nobody had been able to quite get it out of him yet. With Leroy Sane, I'd say more you're looking at somebody who's already been past his peak, is in a good vein of form at the minute, but I don't think they're a fair comparison, to be honest with you. And also, we needed midfielders with Gravenberch. We don't really need a wide player with Leroy Sane. Right, I have a couple more to get through. 1 second. Okay, that one's come through twice. Weird. That one's come through twice as well. Tom said, if RH put up to Edwards to get it signed, 100% sack. If RH put up to Edwards to get it signed, I don't know what you mean by that. I've probably just gone over my head though, mate. Right. Rachel said, I think something's going to happen between now and Boxing Day. Paolo said, Craig, hi, greetings from Costa Rica. What's the latest on Canade and Jota? So Ibu, we're hopeful actually we'll have Ibu back by the end of this month. In my mind, I'm kind of looking at the Leicester game as a possible one for him. Diogo Jota is an interesting one because himself and Chiesa trained today, some of it with the team, some of it away from the team. I think we're likely to see, at a very minimum, Chiesa in the matchday squad for Fulham, and there's a good chance we could see Jota in there as well. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if both are in, but I'd be amazed if at least one wasn't, mate. Oh, if Richard Hughes put it up to Edwards to get it signed, 100% signed. Sorry. Look, the whole thing is a farce at this rate, mate. Honestly, Tom, whether it's Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes, whoever. The fact that we are in this position, you know, we can only go over the same thing. It's an absolute fustercluck. So I've loads to get through tonight, by the way. Something may have escaped a lot of people's notice, but, you know, it was picked up on by some parts of the media, and I want to just address it now and ask you guys your thoughts on this. So Steve McManaman was on TNT Sport doing some commentary. I think he was working with Rio Ferdinand, and they were speaking about Ryan Gravenberch and Martin Zubimendi. And there's a couple of lines here that stood out to me, and I just wanted to hear if you guys had heard anything similar on this. So they were speaking about it, and he said they were surprised about Gravenberch's form. And then McManaman went on to say the fact that Martin Zubimendi was practically signed, pictured, kit on, etc., etc., and then decided to go back on that and stay with Sociedad. So I've not heard anybody else speak about pictures of him with a kit on. Not to the best of my understanding. David Lynch has never mentioned it to me. Anyone else I've spoken to has never mentioned it to me. If that's the case, then my God, you can understand why the club would feel like that deal was going to happen. You know, if someone's sitting there kit on and then he changes his mind, he's had his pictures, that's that must have been very, 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 very close. But the reason I bring it up is because there's some conversation and some chatter starting to come out now about Zubimendi realising that he is going to make this move away from Sociedad. Some people have thought that he's going to go and play for Manchester City and take up that Rodri slot. But transfer sector, and I think Jason Burt of The Telegraph have said, Martin Zubimendi is said to have reservations about the prospect of playing the role of understudy to Rodri once he returns and could wait until the summer to determine his future. So what I would say there to Martin Zubimendi is, excuse me, firstly, look at what's going on right now at Manchester City. So Guardiola signed a new deal and things are starting to fall apart a bit. 1 win in 10. Players not looking too happy. The squad looks like it needs a massive overhaul. They've got the 115 to 130 charges case still hanging over their head. Again, I'd say to Zubimendi, if you've got any type of sense about you whatsoever and you really do want to enjoy that next step, don't go and play for Manchester City in front of two men and his dog. Come and play for Liverpool, where you will be idolised. You will have a chance to continue your development and win stuff. And there won't be any charges hanging over your head or anything to worry about. And also, you know, Liverpool were very understanding of the last time. So I would say, you know, if he's coming anywhere, surely it's to Liverpool if he moves. So let's check in on the Sane poll. We did ask, would you take Leroy Sané at Liverpool? We're going to leave it up a little bit longer. So far, 77% of you guys are realistic, and 24% of you've lost your damn minds. Jokes. Right. Loads to get through tonight. Loads to get through. Let's talk money. Because who doesn't like hearing about Liverpool making some money? So, some of the figures from the Champions League, the earnings have come out. And Liverpool, unsurprisingly, because we've been perfect with 6 wins from 6, have amassed the most money. The only club actually to have gone above 80 million euro so far in revenue in this season's Champions League. We have a total revenue so far of 82.949 million euro taken in so far during the Champions League. Wow. Nearly 83 million euro. So the next highest on the list is almost 10 million below us, and that's Bayern Munich, who've generated 73.1. Then comes Borussia Dortmund with 69.82. Then Manchester City just a little bit behind Barcelona, both in and around 69.5 million euro. So that comes from, by the way, for Liverpool, the starting fee, so you get 18.62 million for getting in there. Then the market value and pool share was 31.79. The coefficient, 10-year coefficient payment was 10.38. Then you have the points. That got us 12.6 million. Placement currently, which is first in the league. And then, of course, there's bonuses and stuff on top of that as well. So 83 million euro so far generated from the Champions League this season. You know where I'm going with this, right? John, hey John, where's the money? Because we can't be crying poor mouth anymore. Where's the money, John? Time to pony it up, because we're bringing it in, and we're bringing plenty of it in. So, yeah, no more cheap arson. Thank you very much. Spurs are losing to Rangers, lads. Oh, days. Oh, days. Monkstown Glass. I broke down. I don't know if you heard it, mate, but I broke down what that was all for. So far, that's what we've generated. And there's more to come, by the way. That's just what we've gotten to this point. So 82.9 million euro. Didn't Sane have a fight with Mane at Bayern? Yes, he did, Rich. Spot on, mate. And yeah, look, there's many reasons why I wouldn't like Leroy Sané at Liverpool, but you know, that's just yet another one. So we're pretty close to the 1,000 votes that we always like to use as a cut-off point for the poll. We're about 20 votes away, so if you haven't had your chance or had your say yet, please do. Spurs losing to Rangers, lads. I mean, I don't know what to say about Spurs anymore. They are just... watch them come out and be prime Barcelona, by the way, when we play them next Saturday. Right, we're nearly at this 1,000 votes. I'm going to cancel it off when we hit the 1,000. There we go. So, 77% of the 1,000 people that voted said they would not like Leroy Sané at Liverpool. 23% said that they would. Right, super chat to get through. 1 second. Oh, did I miss somebody? Oh, 1 second. I did. Right, a couple of super chats to bring through. Trent is making sure Salah and VVD sign before making a move. I don't think that's it, to be honest. Look, I'd love you to be right. I'd love that to be the case. But I don't think that is it, because he knows they're going to sign. He knows they want to stay. And unlike Trent, we can say that about those two. And that's the part for me, mate. Who was it? Tinsey? That's the part for me that makes me nervous. Because we've not heard Trent come out and say that yet. And even when I mentioned it to David Lynch, he said, yeah, it wouldn't be bad if he did stop in the mix zone one time and just reiterate the fact that he does want to be here. That's the part that has me worried. What a great account name this is, by the way. The Phantom Panty Sniffer said, thank good Lord for Craig and your man Arne. Well, do you know what I mean? Two of us, two baldies together, mate, making life perfect for Liverpool fans. You gotta love it. I'm certainly loving life as a Liverpool fan right now. I'm sure you guys and girls are as well. Right, more news, because I've only just scratched the surface of the news for the day. So, we did see Diogo Jota and Chiesa training today at the AXA Training Centre, so that certainly bodes well for their comebacks. We know Federico Chiesa played an hour for the 21s previously, scoring as well. So, I think I'll be amazed if he isn't in that squad at the weekend. And I think Diogo could be close. We know Ali's already back. We've also seen Costas out there doing a little bit of running and work on the training ground as well. So that bodes well that he shouldn't be too far away from being back. A little bit of a change, by the way. After tonight's stream, usually I do a recap and I just put it out. But we're going to put out the preview at 10:30 tonight. I recorded it earlier on. That's going to be coming out straight after the stream. Right, so here's a link that I'm saying belongs on Bullshit Island, right? So multiple industry sources have said that Liverpool have expressed an interest in signing Alphonso Davies and that they would be the most plausible Premier League destination for him. However, senior Liverpool sources have strongly denied any interest in a deal, and a story from Mario Cortahena. I've never ever heard his name come up, or yeah, I would say I just don't believe that. I think he ends up, if he comes in the Premier League, at Chelsea or United, most likely United. Liverpool don't get involved in these type of wage bidding wars, and there will be one around Alphonso Davies. If you don't have Madrid in the mix, you're going to have Manchester United in the mix and others. So it just doesn't strike me as a Liverpool type of signing. I'm not saying he isn't good enough, because he's a very good footballer. I just don't think there's anything to it, to be honest. Yeah, I just don't. I mean, I wish I'd sit here and feel confident or say, yeah, I think this one has legs, but I really don't. I don't think there's anything to this. And as I said there in this piece as well, Liverpool sources have denied it as well. Latif, you didn't put in a comment, bro, but I just want to bring your chat up on screen if I can. Let me see. It won't let me for some reason. Watch it not work yet. And then watch when I refresh, it won't be there. 1 second. Yep, there it is. Not there, as I expected. It's brilliant. Latif, thank you, mate. You didn't put your super chat or put a comment in. So, yeah, sorry, mate. Here's a super chat I can bring up on screen, though. From Heavy Metal D. He said, evening all. I'm still in the camp of wanting Nunez to stay and not yet giving up on him. Maybe I'm a bit deluded, but I think he can be great for us. So, look. It's really difficult to nitpick when somebody is backing one of our players. So I'm not going to shout you down, mate, or say you're deluded. But all I can say to you is, I think you're starting to become into the minority, but not too much. Because last night we did a poll on the channel, and it was closer than I expected. We asked, do you think Darwin Nunez can still turn it around at Liverpool? 54% said no, and 46% said yes. So I'm at a point where I don't think we can. And journalists I've spoken to, and people that are closer to the club than me, believe we're going to see him sold in the summer. Now, if he went on a mad one between now and the end of the summer, who knows? But we are now 40% of the way through the season, and I think he scored 3 goals in all competitions, 2 in the Premier League. It's just not good enough from a number 9 at Liverpool Football Club, and he's got opportunities. I just don't think he is. I mean, I want him to succeed, but I just don't see it anymore, mate. I got to be honest, I don't. And as I said, I love the kid. I love a maverick. I want him to do well. I've certainly seen an improvement in his work rate and stuff like that. But ultimately, if you're number 9 for Liverpool Football Club, that ball has to be hitting the back of the net on a more regular basis. So, Troy Deeney was speaking about Darwin. And I wanted to get your take on this, actually. So, he said that it feels like when Darwin gets through one-on-one, he basically just shuts his eyes, hits it hard and hopes for the best. And as much as I've disagreed with a lot of stuff for Troy Deeney, I find it hard to disagree with that take. Because he gets himself into good positions. He's more than capable of creating opportunities as well. But I think, when he gets into those one-on-one moments, I never feel confident. I never feel like when Salah's through one-on-one, I feel confident. When Jota's through, I feel confident. When Gakpo's through, I feel confident. But with Darwin, I don't. I feel it's 50-50 at best when he goes through with a keeper. So I think I kind of understand where Deeney's coming from on this one. It does feel like he's a bit of a hit and hope merchant. Lisa said, I'm struggling with Nunez. I want him to do well, but I'm losing faith day by day. I mean, I totally get where you're coming from, Lisa. I do. We all want him to do well. But, I had to ask myself the other day, Lisa, am I at a point now where I'm just hoping he does well rather than expecting him to do well? And I think I am. I don't think the rational part of my brain expects him to actually turn it around. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Nazar said, agree with you, Craig. Since Alisson's injury, Kelleher has put in a good argument for being number 1. Now Jota is back. I don't think there's any argument for Darwin to be the number 9. So I'm actually intrigued, though, Nazar, to see if Arne gives Chiesa a shot through the centre. Because he played most of his minutes for Juventus in the 3-4 positions. Most of the time was through the centre. I know Chiesa speaks about himself as a winger, and maybe he can cover for Mo and give Mo a breather. But with him and Jota now, it'll be interesting to see who the gaffer gives the chance through the middle. Michael, I mean, I can't believe this is actually true, mate. And I know it is because I have the image here. But let me just read this out. If you ever wondered why Arsenal are a tin pot club, this is why. So Michael Burns has said, Arsenal made a mural for their set-piece coach. WTF. Yep. They have. A mural for a man that has got them a few goals this season and not an ounce of silverware to the club yet. And that's what it takes to get a mural at Arsenal. A couple of goals from a set piece. That's mural worthy, apparently. And we're supposed to take these fuckers seriously? When they tried to tell us that Saka is better than Salah ever was, or it's mad. Like, imagine us doing one for Thomas Gronfors or whatever his name was, the throw-in coach. It's so, I don't know, needy. I don't know, weird. It's just weird. And it's a shit mural as well, by the way. I wouldn't call it a mural, more a stencil sprayed. It's not even a good mural. It doesn't hold a candle to any of the ones you see in Liverpool. Carl, I haven't got a clue, bro, about the Super Chat stuff. That's all Google, YouTube-y stuff, mate. I don't have access to any of their reasoning why they will or won't allow people to Super Chat, mate. Mukarab Ali said, set piece coach is carrying them. But carrying them to what, mate? That's my point here. Carrying them to third? So carrying them to third is enough to get a mural. You know, because they haven't won it. They've won one FA Cup in 6 years. So, yeah, I don't think that we should be talking murals. Yeah, personally. How are you, Craig? Just wanted to ask, how do you think we will do against Fulham? Well, Mohammed, the preview, mate, is coming out straight after this stream at 10:30. I've gone for a win, but I think it's going to be a very difficult game because Fulham are no mugs, as you know, they've showed many times this season. So I think it's going to be a difficult one, but we need to get back to winning ways in the league, and fingers crossed we do. We need Luis/Nando, not Titi Kamara's dog. Yeah. Okay. I would imagine a cross of that though. Imagine a cross of Suarez Torres. Oh, excuse me. What a hiccup that was. What a player that would be. So all sorts of everything. Thank you, mate, for your super chat. Said, my thoughts are that the combination of goals he should have scored with the ones that are a good save makes it look twice as bad, if that makes sense. Whereas with the one or the other, missing would be okay. So, I mean, yeah, he scores some mad goals like that you just think, how has he done that? But let's take the game against Girona the other night as an example, all sorts of everything. So he gets through on goal and on his favourite side as well. And he shoots it, and it doesn't really test the keeper too much. Keeper just has to stick a right boot out and save it. So I think, look, 3 goals this season so far, I think it speaks volumes, you know, and he's been given opportunities. Jota's been out for, a couple of months now. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it just hasn't worked. You know, I don't want to point the finger of blame and get toxic about it. You know, I just want to be honest about it and say I don't think it's worked. Maka going to be a huge loss on Saturday, said Cormac Cronin. I agree, Cormac. I think if you looked at that game against Girona, we had lots of energy in the middle of the park with Szoboszlai and Jones. But we lacked that little bit of guile, mate. That bit of, you know, that spark maybe to play that ball around the corner and unlock a low block. I agree. I don't think Fulham will quite sit back as much as Girona did, in all honesty, but I totally agree with where you're coming from. But he will be back then, and hopefully Cormac rested as well, because he'll have had, 10 days off or something at that point, so little in-season break for him. Win the Dog has a mural, and so does Josh Kroenke. That's a marvellous waste of paint there. Curtis, I love this. It's all about standards, and Arsenal don't have any, said Curtis. They do. They're just very, very low, mate. Very, very low. Do you think Jones would start against Fulham? So, again, without wanting to give away my preview, I found it difficult to not stick with that same midfield 3. I was very tempted, obviously, with Elliott back, but my thought process is, I think Elliott probably plays 30 against Fulham and then gets his first start then, since he's been back from injury, in the League Cup away against Southampton. I think we'll probably see Chiesa maybe get a run out in that game, and Darwin probably as well, maybe even with Toro. So those fringe players, I think, have an opportunity coming up next week against Southampton to show the manager what they can do. So yeah, I don't think we're going to see much of a change in midfield on Saturday. Virgil van Dijk has been speaking a little bit about Chelsea, and this is what he had to say. He does think they're in a title race with us, by the way. He said, I don't think they are under the radar. Obviously, with the squad they have, the players that can come off the bench, we can talk about inexperience maybe, but they have the quality, they have the players to make it difficult for any team, so they're definitely up there. I think they have shown it. I kind of agree with Virgil. Like, if I was a Chelsea fan looking at what's happening with their club so far this season, I'd probably be, I wouldn't be talking up a title challenge, but I'd be feeling it, you know, and deservedly so. You know, they are in second place on merit, and can they keep it up? Will, I guess, maybe a lack of experience cost some of them over the season? The goalkeeper maybe is an issue for them. But they're there by merit, and you know they do have a very big squad as well. So I think I agree with Virgil that they're not to be counted out just yet. LFC Gamer and Vlogs, thank you mate, appreciate your super chat. Said, hi Craig, I'm not sure if this is a popular opinion, but as much as I like Bajcetic, I sadly can't see him being used much for us. He's been loaned out more times than I can count. Should we sell him? Am I missing something about the loans here? I don't remember being farmed out on loan much. He's out this season for the entire season just to make sure that he can take the rigours of a whole campaign and stay fit throughout the season. And look, I don't know is the honest answer about what his future holds at Liverpool, particularly with the way Aaron has maybe changed what we use as a deep lying midfielder a bit. But I certainly think he's a very, very fine young footballer, and he's come into that Salzburg team at a time where under Linders they just haven't been doing great this season. But I guess we'll find out over the summer if he comes back into the first team fold, or if, like you've said, maybe he does go out on loan again or something. Important to remember that we have only paid €300,000 for him from Celta Vigo. He was the last of the signings we were able to bring in before the Brexit stuff came in. And yeah, so again, it cost us next to nothing. Josie Coastal, how are you, my friend? Said, as an American Liverpool fan, seeing Weah assist McKennie against Man City in the Champions League just feels really good. Yeah, I mean, that result last night for City, again, losing. That is, imagine I said to you, or anyone said to me even last year, that there's going to be a time this season where Manchester City will have won 1 in 10. Honestly, I have to say, I would have told somebody they were smoking crack if they said that to me. But here we are, at a time where Guardiola's still there, Haaland's playing, and they've 1 win in 10. That is where Manchester City are at. 1 win in 10. And that includes, you know, getting beaten by Juventus, getting beaten by us. It's fucking glorious, is what it is. I'd be a liar if I said I'm not enjoying every second of this wobble, downfall, whatever you want to call it. So, let's talk about Mamadou Sonko for a second. So, Ben Sposak, who I believe works for Anfield Watch, said, exclusive, understand Liverpool are back in for Mamadou Sonko. The club tried to sign him in January and he has been on Liverpool's radar since 2017. Didn't get much game time during his first 6 months at Ghent, but he's thriving again and Liverpool are back watching his games. So, this young man's 19, I think, if my memory's right. I think he plays as a left winger, so I'm very stumped as to why, again, we'd be looking at a winger. At least with this kid, I can think, alright, age-wise, maybe he is one Liverpool are looking at for the future. Maybe in a post-Diaz world in 2 or 3 years' time, I don't know. But again, today seems to be we've been linked with a load of wingers, and I don't get it. I really just don't understand why. I don't know anything about this guy other than that, though, by the way, Sonko. So feel free to let me know your thoughts on it, because for me, it would have to be one for the future. My mistake. Thanks for correcting me, chat. Did you say the wrong assist or something, mate? I mean, I won't lie to you, I didn't notice the mistake, bro. Coach Bill said, Craig, when City signed Haaland, I told a City fan in 2 seasons' time defenders will figure out how to tame him. I don't know what is going on at City, in all honesty. Like, I know that they've lost Rodri, and any team losing Rodri would be a huge loss to them. And Kovacic has been out for a few weeks, granted, but, you know, I don't think enough has been made about how shit their transfer business has been. They spent 100 million Great British pounds on Jack Grealish, and what has he done since he's gone in there? They've brought in Jeremy Doku, who, other than a few flashy moments, hasn't really lit the Premier League up. The youngster that they've brought in from Girona, Savinho, or from their sister club, jury's still out on him. They look a shambles at the minute, and this Manchester derby on Saturday is going to be very interesting because, you know, both teams are going into it kind of all over the place. I did not think that this little wobble would go on this long at City. I didn't. I thought that Pep would have been able to figure something out at this point. Arthur, let me get your super chat up on screen, my friend. Do you think... Hang on 1 second. BK Karma, just to put this out there, mate, we don't talk politics on the channel, so you can drop your Democrats, Republican, or any of the other stuff. We're in here to talk footy, have fun with each other. Politics is too divisive, mate. So, do you think Darwin can play Szoboszlai's central attacking midfield position? No, I don't. I don't think he has the nous to play the position. He'll have the work rate. I don't think he has the guile to play the position. I know you're probably looking along the whole Joe Linton, Newcastle, reinvent the forward into a central attacking midfielder, but I would say no, it's time to cash in, personally, rather than look to try and again shoehorn him into another position. Aaron said, Craig, apprehension about Chiesa through the middle, he's not the biggest lad. Either was Michael Owen, either was Robbie Fowler, either was Luis Suarez. You know, you don't have to be 6'4" to play through the centre if you're good enough. So, you know, I wouldn't be worrying about Chiesa's height. Now look, I'm not saying Chiesa is going to be the long-term solution through the centre either. But Diogo Jota isn't exactly a towering figure either. Adam Reynolds said, how much do you reckon Nunez is worth? It's a good question. It's a good question, and one that I've been asking myself. So there's two factors into my answer, right? One is Michael Edwards, and we know what Edwards has been able to get for players previously. So him and Hughes, I don't know if maybe we'd get somebody to stump up the dough that we'd be happy with. I would be expecting us to lose money from what we paid, so my thought process is probably around 50s, early 50s with some add-ons that are achievable if he wins stuff, scores goals, something like that. I feel like it'll be made to look like we didn't lose our arse in the transfer. Tinsay said, bravo Craig, no politics. Look, we're very firm on it. No politics, no religion in the chat. For one reason only, in that they're very divisive subjects, and that's not what we're about. You know, we want to bring people together on here. Look, I respect everyone's political views and religious views, don't get me wrong, but we're here to, you know, bring us all together and unite us by the love of football and food talk. So, yeah, we try to keep politics out of the chat. And also, I'm fed up of it all. Yeah, I'm sure you guys are as well. I'm fed up of hearing about politics and all every time I turn on the news. It's all just drama, drama, drama. So, yeah, we just stick to the footy. Look at City's fixtures around us in February. #finished, said Tom Goldsworthy. I very much hope they are, Tom, mate. I hope they are. And also, the Everton game looks like it is being penciled in for the February the 11th slot. Yeah. So the Daily Mirror said, breaking, the last Merseyside derby to be played at Goodison Park has been penciled in for Tuesday the 11th of February, which is a perfect time for us. because that was our week. Basically, we had not much on that week now. So Tuesday the 11th, under the lights at Goodison. It'll be on TNT Sport as well, I believe. So yeah, like we told you, if we got that top 8 position, that was most likely going to be where this game falls. And the Mirror believe that's exactly when we will see it played. Frozen said, is it just me? Seems like the players are losing faith in Darwin, giving him much less of the ball. Not sure, because Salah said the other day that he very much enjoys playing with Darwin. So, yeah, look, I guess it's the manager losing faith in him. That's the most important one, right? Him and Salah do have a good understanding, and, you know, they do set each other up a bit, but look, I want him. All I can say about him is I want it to work, but I'm no longer believing that it will. I'm more hoping now than believing. So, anybody in from Asia in the chat? Have we anybody in from Asia? Let me know if you are in the chat. Don't worry, I'm going somewhere with this Asia thing. Don't worry. Just got away for a minute to see if anybody is in the chat from Asia, because I might have some good news for you. That's why I'm saying it. Answer said, yes, I'm from Asia. Good. At least we know we've got one viewer in from Asia. So, you might like this, mate. Liverpool are weighing up a visit to Japan and Hong Kong as part of the summer tour of Asia before the start of the 2025-26 campaign. The Reds haven't visited Japan since the 2005 Club World Cup, where Rafael Benitez Champions League holders were beaten by Brazil side Sao Paulo, but it is understood that a pre-season tour of the region is firmly on the agenda for next summer. So there you go. Anybody in that part of the world, it mentions Japan and Hong Kong here specifically. You might get to see the boys up close, and yeah, well in. It's a part of the world I definitely want to visit. Yeah, I've always dreamt about doing the full pre-season tour and following the lads around, but there you go. If you're in Japan, Hong Kong, or anywhere near and surrounding areas, maybe you'll get a chance to come and watch the lads up close. Could you see Darwin going to another club and scoring more goals? Yes. Maybe with a bit less pressure on his shoulders. City fans said that they might have 200 million to spend. Are they clear of PSR? I don't know their finances inside out, mate, to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't know, is the honest answer. And look, it wouldn't surprise me if they were looking at a 200 mil spend, because they do need a rebuild, you know, looking at the age profile of the squad and that. I just don't know where they're at. And I don't know how, again, they could commit to this not knowing the outcome of the case that's currently against them. Oh, Spurs have equalised, said the chat. Asia is massive. I'm from Turkey. If I'm from Turkey, why would I go all the way to Japan? Did anybody ask you to go all the way to fucking Japan, arsehole? Jesus Christ. I literally said anybody from Asia as a talking point, and then you were in going, but if I'm from Turkey, am I going to go all the way? Fuck you, arsehole. Anywhere you went, mate, people are probably just fucking laugh and tell you to fuck off anyway, if that's your attitude, honestly. And also, if you're from Turkey, you might also be from Europe as well. Let's not forget that, because it is split in half. And nobody asked you to chime in with your bullshit opinion. Fuck me. People like you, mate, I'd love to meet in real life, because if that, you must go around with two black eyes all the time. I can't imagine you speaking to anybody in the real world like that. You're defo one of those lads in a shopping centre who rips the phone number out for a moving company or something, going, I don't fucking want any moving. God almighty. I feel like a very angry parent now. Right, anyway, why is the whole of X going in on Mohamed Salah today? I find it all very strange. It's loads of stuff like calling Mo a narcissist on X today, and I don't get it. I think it's because of that video where he said only I could have made the pass or something, and people weren't getting that it was sarcasm. It's just weird, man. Some people on X are just weird. Like, genuinely weird. Any reason to just bitch and moan at people. Oh, he's so fucking narcissistic. Is he? Or is he taking the piss? Maybe. Maybe the joke's just gone totally over your head. I don't get it though. It's weird. And Connor sent me like multiple examples of it today because I'm not on X. And we're both kind of just scratching our heads going, why? What's all this about? Like, would you visit anywhere in the Balkans or South America? Mate, I want to see everywhere in the world. I want to see everywhere. Yeah, defo. Like, I love to travel. Love to meet people. Love to, I would say taste new foods and that, but I'm not great about doing that, to be honest with you. But yeah, I love the idea of traveling. Especially for the hidden gems, you know, the places that, you know, aren't really fully discovered yet or that haven't gone overly commercialised yet. So when I find myself these days like going to Lanzarote or somewhere, I look for somewhere that's a little bit quieter, but, you know, somewhere like Playa Blanca, places like that, rather than, you know, going to the established, bigger metropolitan type areas. What's X? It's Twitter, Nick. It's Twitter. Just Elon's Twitter. The overlap today in Cara doubled down. On what? On cry arson about Salah again? I don't get it. I don't understand it. There is something that did make me laugh though. I mean, I'll read it out to you. It's about Cara, so let me read it out to you. Where's it gone? So, Cara basically said, I think it's on the Rest is Football podcast, if I'm not mistaken, that he tried to reach out to Liverpool and got stonewalled on the Mohamed Salah contract situation and that they were playing their cards close to their chest. Or, Jamie, or maybe they just were sick of you cry arson about Salah and just said, fuck this lad and his entitlement. I don't know, just putting it out there. Because why would they be telling you anything when all you're doing is moaning about him? How dare he talk to the media, also at the same time going, hey, have you any info on Salah? I don't know why he was from Dublin there, but there you go. Stephen said, Craig, do you think Slot should have faith in Kwanzaa and drop Gomez for the Fulham game? Gomez has made mistakes when under pressure. No, I wouldn't. But what I would say is I would put Kwanzaa in for the game against Southampton, but put him in a centre-back position, maybe alongside Gomez. Because we need to make sure that we get it right on Saturday. We need to beat Fulham. After drawing at Newcastle, we need to make sure we get the win. So I would say stick with Gomez and then maybe put Kwanzaa in for the Southampton League Cup game. Do you think the kids coming through the academy will still get as much of an opportunity as with Klopp, or do we think it was just down to the spell of injuries? No, Mike. I think Garner will look to bring them through. It's difficult though, that last step to move from academy football up into first team senior football. It's the toughest, and it's a difficult one for managers as well, because I've no doubt almost every manager will want to blood through younger players, but if it doesn't go right, it's your neck on the line as well. And we know how high profile a job Liverpool's manager is and the pressure that comes with that to make sure that you pick up wins and stuff. So what I would say is, if you look at the business that Liverpool have been doing around these 16, 17, 18-year-old prospects, we have been making a big play to try. Like yesterday, we spoke about a youngster that signed for us from Manchester City's academy. Then we, of course, had Rion Yamoha come in from Chelsea. So the club are working very well in that regard. We're looking to stock up good talent coming through. But, you know, can they make that leap through? You certainly hope so. I mean, we all love an academy graduate coming through, whether it be the likes of a Trent or a Curtis Jones or whomever. It just feels like an extra little bonus win when you get somebody through the pathway like that. And I'll, actually, because we are a Saturday 3 p.m. game, a reminder to everyone as well that you may need to get creative if you want to watch it if you're in the UK. No better place than Surfshark, by the way. But we will be live from 1:45 for the watch along on Saturday. So if you want to join us for that one, please do. Craig, have we played anybody yet? I don't know, Carl. Maybe. You know, we have to ask. We have to ask Gary Neville if we have. You know, he's the man with all the answers. You know, if you want to know anything about football, you have to get permission from Gary Neville to make it a fact. So, you just ask Gary Neville would be my question. Ty Carr said, it's good to see Ibu post a picture in the gym. Hopefully he's back by the end of the month. I believe he will be. Again, in my own head, and it is just in my own head, mate, I've penciled in kind of the Leicester City game on Boxing Day, or St. Stephen's Day as we call it over here in Ireland, as the one for Ibu. Timmy said, Ashworth linked with Arsenal, Havertz must be bricking it. It is mad that whole Dan Ashworth thing didn't work out at United. Because even you heard Gary Neville speaking about when he worked with him in the English setup, he spoke well of him. So it is mad that they moved heaven and earth to bring him in there to United, and he hasn't lasted very long. So it would be mad to see if he goes in and, you know, helps Arsenal push on to the next level. Guilherme said, an Ibu contract is almost done. Yeah, it's certainly moving in the right direction. You know, whether you see whoever is talking about it, it is genuinely positive around his contract situation. So, quick question. I think most of us believe, at least I hope most of us believe now that Virgil and Mo stay. I think compromise is going to be found and they stay. But I want to get your thoughts on Trent. And I want it to be a poll, so I'm going to ask again. 1 second. Just writing this out, bear with me. One more option. Right, so where will Trent be next season? Liverpool, Real Madrid, or somewhere else? I want to see where your heads are at with regards to the Trent stuff. When will the Salah and Virgil new contracts be confirmed? Well, they haven't been agreed yet. Although the Virgil one, I can't say for a fact that hasn't been agreed yet, but the Salah one, I think, you know, we're still in the back and forth about, you know, we want this, they want that, you know, I think we're still at that point there. So, I'm hoping we get, before Christmas, we get that little photo that we're expecting. Jason, member with us for 10 months. Thank you, bro. Said, I'm getting my first tattoo next week. Nice. Enjoy. I hope you haven't gone for anything too big for your first one. I hope you know, because it can wear you down a bit sometimes. But again, let us know how you get on. Why do contracts take so long? I think for a few reasons, right? So sometimes it's to do with money. Sometimes it's to do with image rights. Sometimes it's to do with the problems with sponsors, let's say, and what sponsors have and what brands are attached to the players. And look, they are difficult things, I would imagine. But I don't know why these particular ones are taking so long. What I do know is we shouldn't be in this position. One last thing, actually. I haven't got it booked in just yet because we're still waiting for a confirmed date. But we are hoping to put on an end of season live show party in Liverpool. We're just waiting to get the date confirmed, and when I know, I'll let you know. But we are hoping to put on an end of season live show / party in Liverpool. So I'll keep you guys up to date when I know any confirmed dates or whatever. And as I said to our friends from South Africa or anybody else that's watching, happy come over to do a live show, but we just need help with venues and stuff like that. So that's basically all you need to give us, and we'll show up. Has there been any back and forth over Trent's contract? Do we know? All I know for certain is what David Ornstein reported, that there's been an offer made to all three. I don't know at what stage you're at with Trent. Trent's the one that everybody's struggling to get a read on. It's very, very difficult to figure out anything around the Trent situation. Rich said we'll definitely get a ticket. Yeah, the date we're hoping for, Rich, and again I'm saying hoping for, would fall in a very good time for us. That, you know, I'm hoping we have something to celebrate at that point. So yeah, we were looking at March originally, but we've pushed it back. We think we'd rather do it towards the end of the season. Do you think there are any better right backs than Trent at the moment? No, not with regards to everything Trent brings to the team. Do I think there's any better defensive right backs than Trent? Yeah, there probably is, but we don't think about Trent in that way, do we, when we're thinking about him? We think about his ability to spread the ball around, his work at right back, which I have to say has improved under Arne Slot. His defensive work has definitely improved. So I think overall, no, but defensively, if you're looking at it just from that side, yeah, maybe there's some better. Jack, I'll do a recap, mate, just before we finish up. So give me about 20-25 minutes and we'll go through the recap. Tyree said, I hate how much people slander Trent for his defending. Just watch the games and see how good Trent really is. He's gotten better this season, mate, a lot better. And I've been keeping an eye on it specifically because I was watching Trent's speaking about Arnold, just saying to him, adjust your body position 8 degrees in this direction, and you know, you can see that difference in him. Some of his one-on-one defending this season has been really good, like up against likes of Rafa Leao and that as well. So yeah, I've been more than impressed with him defensively. Paolo Atan said, Craig, what's the latest on Canade and Jota? Canade is still a bit away, but I think he's off crutches and all that stuff, so I think you're probably looking at a latter part of this month. Jota, he could well be in the squad at the weekend. You know, we'll probably hear more from Arne tomorrow in the press conference, but him and Chiesa, I would be, you know, surprised if at least one of them two isn't in the matchday squad on Saturday. Do you think Luis Diaz can be our go-to starter if Jota is absent? Through the centre? He can certainly do a job there, as we've seen. But he's better on the left, you know. And I know there's a big battle there between himself and Cody Gakpo because they've both had a good season. But I would think we're probably going to see a Jota, Chiesa, Nunez battle for the central position. Till Sheen said Jota is really going to make a difference. I think all with the pundits will be talking about him in a month. I hope so. Certainly. Do you know what always shocks me about Jota is how good he is aerially. That's the part, like, because he's not a big dude, but he chips in with more than his fair share of headers. That always surprises me about him. He's so good at positioning. LYP Badger said, hopefully Trent stays and we sign Marmoush and Zubimendi. I feel very confident about one of those two, mate. Very confident. And it's spreading. I can see others on social media and stuff. People whose opinions I think are worth noting. I've started to speak more about Marmoush as well and Liverpool. So, excuse me. So let's wait and see. Rovers wins 3-0. Nice. Well done, Shamrock Rovers. David Massett said Trent's defending looks a lot better under Slot. Definitely. And here, do you know what, David? Just on that, right? Let's stick to that for a second. This is why I really don't understand the idea of Trent wanting to leave Liverpool. Because if we're to believe that he wanted to see how we're going to get on before he made his mind up and see what Arne was like, I don't see how the answer to all of those questions haven't been a massive positive. So, who's the next gaffer? Will he be good enough? Will he be able to improve my game? Will we be challenging? Yes, 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 yes. Well, sorry. Arne Slot, yes, yes, yes. So I don't understand. Like, I agree with you. He's absolutely improved them defensively. So why not continue that improvement at Liverpool when we are in a position where we look like we could challenge for everything? Yeah, it just feels like he's got this shiny object over here in Real Madrid, kind of, flashing their eyes at him and whatnot. But it will be the wrong move for him. I really do feel like staying at Liverpool is what he should be doing. But then again, I would say that, wouldn't I? Macaulay Goodwill, said Daniel Agger turned 40 today. Can you imagine a dream centre-back pairing of VVD and Dagger? So, I don't think Daniel Agger was as good as many people like to remember Daniel Agger as being. I think Daniel Agger was an absolute through and through red. Somebody who would go through a brick wall for the shirt. But I wouldn't be putting him up there in the pantheon of great centre-backs. He's a very good centre-back, don't get me wrong. But I wouldn't be putting him in a conversation with Sammy Hyypiä, as an example. Or Alan Hansen, or Virgil van Dijk. I wouldn't be putting him in that category. Very, 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 very likeable fella. And a real massive Liverpool fan through and through. But, I think revisionism is kind of a play here a little bit. Do you think that Darwin could benefit of the team making more aerial crosses into the box? No. I think we need to stop looking at any other reasons for Darwin not doing as well as he should other than Darwin. Because he's been played left, he's been played central, and it's not like he isn't getting opportunities, he's just not sticking the ball in the net. And ultimately, that's your bread and butter when you're a centre forward. Tobias said, I'd consider selling Jota because of his availability. So I've said the same in the past as well, mate. They will certainly be the two at Liverpool that I think will be most sellable with regards to... Look, if Jota, let's say, was able to stay fit for the rest of this season, you wouldn't even have the conversation then. If he stays fit now between now and the end of the season, again, absolutely. It's never been an issue with Jota's ability. We know he's good enough. It's just a matter of, the games missed, as you've mentioned. Klopp will be really confused seeing Man City downfall. I was thinking about that last night, Tanishq. Between the 12:30 kickoff against Everton being cancelled and City falling apart, I wonder if Jurgen is having a wry smile somewhere to think, wasn't this fucking shit happen last year? But I've no doubt he's delighted for Arne and how he started anyway. So Roger said, will Pep resign or even possibly get the sack? You can't sack him. You can't. No. He's unsackable in my mind. You might have to strongly encourage him to step away, but you don't sack him. But will he? No, I don't think so. But it'll be interesting to see what happens after we get the result of the case against them. Marmouche is more like Hazard than Salah for me, so tricky, said Till Sheen. I think Marmouche is going to be a Liverpool player, and I think he's going to be a success here. Do you think Darwin could do the same as Joelinton? No, I don't. I feel like, and it's understandable, but I feel like, again, we're having that square peg, round hole conversation here about Darwin. Just find any which way. And who are you dropping, by the way, to shoehorn Darwin into a position that we've never seen him play? So, no, if he's not going to make it through the centre, I think you've got to cut your losses. If you want to persist with him through the centre, Now, that's a different conversation, but I wouldn't be looking to just keep trying mad things to see if anything works. Do you think Ange is in trouble at Spurs? Well, I don't know is the honest answer, because he got the backing of the board, who acknowledged the injuries playing a part. Again, it's difficult to know without knowing what their objectives were at the start of the season, or what he was told. But he's going to have to start showing them up a little bit better defensively, because they can't continue to play like they are with being wide open in games like that. Hopefully he figures this out after we play them next Saturday. Tyrese said, Craig, do you think we could win the quadruple? I'm not touching that question, mate. I'm not touching it. Yeah, there's a reason it's never been done before. So, let's not start talking about anything like that just yet. Oh, wrong one. 1 second. Would you loan in De Jong for a short spell? As in Frankie De Jong from Barcelona? Why would they be loaning him? And no, I hate loans, by the way. Let me say that. I don't like loans at all. Because here's the way I look at a loan, right? Let's say you loan in a player and they do really well for you, right? And you're like, oh, let's buy the player. In my mind, and it is, just my way of thinking, I think we're not actually benefiting then next season, because you're so used to having somebody in the team that's doing well. And I've no doubt De Jong will do well because he's a great player. But then if you had to go and pay for him at the end of the summer, and then it takes away from being able to go and buy somebody else, you've already kind of got used to seeing that person in your team. So I've never really been a fan of the whole loan things at a club like Liverpool. I'm a fan of loaning our youngsters out, but not players in. It's just like admitting you're not sure. And if you're not sure on somebody, I think that's your answer. And also, can you imagine L. John W. Henry seeing his €600,000 a week wage packet having to be paid out? Because I think that's roughly what he's on at Barcelona. Callum said Marmoush should join, but as an understudy for now, and let Mo take him under his wing and show him the ropes. Look, just sign him and we'll figure it out after that, Because let's say we sold Darwin and brought in Marmoush, just for argument's sake. Then you've got Chiesa, Salah, Marmoush, Gakpo, Diaz and Jota, with young Jadon Danns as well. I mean, that is a delicious collection of attacking players. Would I take Jack Grealish from City? No, not for free. And I'm not joking. I wouldn't take him for free. Because one, I get a pain in my arse with the game being so stop-start every 2 seconds when he falls. No, I wouldn't. And, I'm Irish, so I'm, not very fond of Grealish anyway. So I wonder what's wrong with Darwin. Is a lack of concentration. We've definitely seen him score crazy goals. It's one of those, mate. It's just one of them things that I don't know. I think everybody would drive themselves insane trying to figure it all out. So look, I did say to somebody I would go through what we spoke about tonight and refresh for them, and I'm a man of my word. So start off with a comment from Steve McManaman around Martin Zubimendi that I didn't know about. So Steve McManaman said that basically he was pictured in a Liverpool kit and all before the move fell apart. I didn't know that, and I've not seen it mentioned anywhere else. So, that's quite far along. Then we spoke a little bit about Omar Marmoush, and you see more and more now people talking about him as being maybe the one Liverpool are looking at, like I've tried to say to everybody for a while. So keep an eye on that situation. Then we spoke about the fact that Diogo Jota and Federico Chiesa were training today, albeit I think some of it was away from the first team, but they were picture training today, so that's good news. We then moved on to a story coming in from Mario Cortahana, who said, multiple industry sources have said that Liverpool have expressed an interest in signing Alphonso Davies and that they would be the most plausible Premier League destination for him. And then we come to the actual factual part. However, senior Liverpool sources have strongly denied any interest in a deal. And I I agree with that. There's no chance. And anybody I've spoken to, no, not on Liverpool's radar. So I wouldn't expect it. Then we went and spoke about Virgil van Dijk, who was insisting that he believes Chelsea are in the title race. He said, I don't think they're under the radar. Obviously, with the squad they have, the players that can come off the bench, we can talk about inexperience maybe, but they have the quality, they have the players to make it difficult for any team. So they are definitely up there, and I think they have shown it. And again, I agree. I think Chelsea should be regarded as at least genuine contenders. So then we come to Ben Bosak, who I believe works for Anfield Watch, said exclusive. Understand Liverpool are back in for Mamadou Sonko. The club tried to sign him in January and he's been on Liverpool's radar since 2017. Didn't get much game time during his first 6 months at Ghent, but he's thriving again and Liverpool are back watching his games. He's a left winger, to the best of my understanding, still 19. So if we did look at him, it'd have to be for the future because it wouldn't be for the here and now. Then we spoke about Champions League money so far this season, and it's looking quite good for Liverpool. Liverpool top the money table so far in the Champions League this season. 82.949 million euro earned so far by Liverpool in the Champions League this year, putting us at least, 10 million or so ahead of Bayern Munich, who are second on just over 73 million euro. Then Borussia Dortmund, 69 million euro. Barcelona, again, 69.5 million. And Manchester City then 69.5. So Liverpool doing very well out of this season's Champions League. And there's still more to come. Also, we spoke about Jason Bird for The Telegraph, who said Martin Zubimendi is said to have reservations about the prospect of playing the role of understudy to Rodri once he returns and could wait until the summer to determine his future. I don't know where to go with that, other than, I hope if he does decide his future lies away from Sociedad, that it's in a Liverpool shirt. Then we got some confirmation from the Mirror, who said, breaking, the last Merseyside derby to be played at Goodison Park has been penciled in for Tuesday the 11th of February. Obviously, we said to you guys last week that if we secure the top 8 place in the Champions League and avoid the playoff round, we expected that it would be somewhere around 11th, 12th of February, and it looks like that has now been confirmed. Then we gave people the news that Liverpool are weighing up a visit to Japan and Hong Kong as part of a summer tour of Asia before the start of the 25-26 campaign. The Reds haven't been to Japan since 2005's Club World Cup, and it is on the agenda for this summer's pre-season. So if you are in that neck of the woods, keep an eye out for more information on that. What else have we got? Oh, Liverpool are looking to hold talks with Norwich City, by the way, around Craig Houlden, because he's not getting enough game time there, and Liverpool have the option to recall him and maybe send him out on loan elsewhere. So do keep an eye on that situation with Craig Houlden. Rian Yamoha was there training with the first team today as well. Then there was this mad story from Christian Falk, which I'm going to say belongs on Bullshit Island. It's now clear that Leroy Sane is a serious option being considered by Liverpool. I've heard that Liverpool are looking for a player with experience, a player that they can immediately follow the steps of Mohamed Salah. Yeah, but his name's going to be Omar Marmoush and not Leroy, 28 years of age, crocked with injuries and falls out with people. Sane. So I think this is Christian Falk trying to do a solid for his favourite club there in Bayern Munich. Then we went through the news that Arsenal have put a mural up for their set piece coach. I'll let you have your own fun with that. Yeah, that's pretty much it actually, with the recap. Adam Brown said, I'm guessing you didn't like the Arthur Melo deal. No, and I called it at the time, mate. It stunk to high heavens as panicking. Nor did I like the Ozan Kabak loan either. Ridiculous. And do you know what really pissed me off about the Arthur Melo deal? Is that Juventus were so insistent on an option to buy in there. And Liverpool knew that we'd no intention of buying them, but still agreed that the option to buy be put in there, knowing that we'd no intention of making it permanent. So that whole thing to me was one of the most infuriated I've been as a Liverpool fan. Because if you remember that window, everybody was screaming for a midfielder, and Klopp was telling us all we didn't need one, couldn't improve what was there. And then at the very end, when options were limited, he decides, oh, actually, do you know what, everybody was right, and then we get Arthur Melo, and the rest, didn't work out too well, fair to say. Uh, what's this lad shiting on about Kelleher for? Honest to God, man, just go away. I'm bored of you reading your nonsense now about Kelleher. Timmy said, can we just end this Kelleher bashing right now? There is no Kelleher bashing. There's one arsehole in the chat that, I don't know if Kelleher is shagging his missus or something, but I don't, there's no fallout. Kelleher's been brilliant. And anybody who thinks otherwise is fucking deluded. And yes, he made one mistake, but I can show you 4 or 5 mistakes Alisson made as well. And if anybody isn't anything but eternally grateful to Kelleher, you want to give your head a wobble because you're not understanding what you're seeing. So yeah, bit more gratitude towards Kelleher would be much appreciated. Jay Muse, talk to you soon, bro. Talk to you soon. You know, we're very blessed, by the way, to have had him. Because can you imagine if we had Adrian San Miguel for that same period of games? Let me ask you where you think we'd be in the Premier League and Champions League now. Because I would say we'd probably be, you know, a little few points worse off if we had Adrian San Miguel as the backup keeper who stepped in to fill that time where Alisson was out, and at the end of last season as well. So, you know, I'm eternally grateful of having, you know, Kelleher at the club, of having Yarosh as well, who played a little part this season. If you were Kelleher, where would you go to be a number one? Yeah, it's a really good question, Rich. Where would I go? I guess it would depend on the opportunities. Like, you could make an argument for Chelsea needing to sign a keeper, but I would never want Kelleher to go to Chelsea. I think any club, let's say, 6th place down in the Prem, Celtic couldn't afford him, but that would have been a great move if he could have gone to Celtic for a few years. I wonder though, like, is he going to stick in the Prem, or would he broaden his horizons maybe and have a little look at other leagues? You know, I don't know who's in need of a goalkeeper around Europe. Adam said, Adrian, Craig's favourite player. Don't get me started on that lad, Adam. Also, like, whenever I look at goalkeepers in Germany, like, for instance, Dortmund's keeper, Bayern's keeper after Neuer, I think they could all improve as well. What do you think about the future of Endo with the club? I think it'll come down to an opportunity maybe that presents itself that Endo likes the look of. I have nothing but good things to say about Wataru Endo. You know, it's been very unfortunate for him to have had a manager come in who just wants the position played differently to the manager he signed to play under. He's a model pro. Every time he speaks, you know, he's so humble, so focused, so hardworking. I just want the best for him, in all honesty. I want whatever the next move for Wataru Endo is to be one that he'll be appreciated, he'll enjoy. He deserves it, you know, he deserves it. And I'll always think fondly of him. Genuinely, he's just been unlucky, I think. Right, couple of quick things. If you haven't, please do hit that like button for me. We're over 500, would appreciate it. If you haven't hit it, to take a second and hit it. Also, we haven't mentioned it yet on the stream, but pinned to the top of the chat, you will see the link for Joe's Just Giving page. Joe is looking to raise £5,500 for a wheelchair basketball chair. Joe suffers with cerebral palsy, works as a youth counsellor, and provides pastoral care to youth between the ages of 14 and 25, and also wants to keep up his own fitness levels as well. He's currently playing with a chair that's borrowed from his club. It's an old and more cumbersome chair, and these are exactly the type of things that we'd like to highlight on the channel. So if anybody can make a small donation, or instead of sending a super chat or something, contribute a little bit towards Joe, of course we'll be making our own donation as the month comes to a close. But you know, we promise we keep that pinned right throughout the month of December, and anybody who can help us out to give Joe that wonderful gift of a bit of freedom to continue with sporting development, that would be hugely appreciated, excuse me. Right, we asked, where will Trent be next season? And we haven't quite hit 1,000 votes on it yet, so still time to vote if you haven't done so. You've got 3 options. It's either going to be Liverpool, Real Madrid, or somewhere else. So vote away. Wes said, what a lovely cause. Yeah, as soon as it was sent to us, mate, I said to Connor, we've got to do something here to help Joe because, you know, what an incredible human being. Let me say that. You know, it'd be easy for somebody in Joe's position to maybe feel a bit sorry for themselves or feel a bit angry at the world. But no, exact opposite. Joe's out there looking to better himself and his fitness, looking to help young people and help guide their lives as well. It's absolutely wonderful. And a hero. And I don't say that word lightly. So yeah, we'll certainly be doing our best to help Joe out as well. And if you guys can do the same, it'd be really appreciated. Where do you reckon Chelsea will finish this season? I don't know, Peter. It's difficult to know. You know, there's every chance that they finish in second, third. Yeah, it's difficult to know because you're kind of dealing with a bit of a surprise at this point. They deserve to be where they are. Absolutely, no argument about that. But I wonder, you know, will they be able to maintain it? Certainly, squad-wise, they should. They don't really have the distraction of the Conference League too much because they put a different squad out for that. So yeah, I mean, deservedly where they are, and I'm definitely going to be keeping a nervous eye on them throughout the season. Francis Xavier said, I watched the Bundesliga and Sane is so inconsistent. Mate, I agree. Look, I would have loved him when he was moving from Schalke at that time to Man City. But right now at 28, as you said, inconsistencies. Then there was the whole argument and falling out with Sadio Mane. I just think it's Christian Falk trying to stir up interest or, I don't know, help Bayern out or something, because I don't for 1 second believe Liverpool are interested in Leroy Sané. I very, very strongly think that's bullshit. Dave said he's only got 342 now, still short over 4K. Yep, well, you know, David, all I can do is highlight the young man's cause, and of course we'll certainly be adding a donation to that ourselves as the month goes on, but you know, we can't force people, mate. You know, people have a lot at this time of the year that, you know, their own lives going on, work stuff, family stuff, presents, Christmas, so it's, you know, we're always grateful for anything anybody can do, but never going to push it on people or anything like that. What do you think about Frimpong as a replacement? He's just the wrong type of player for us, for what we need. If we played in a Ruben Amorim system or something, you know, something like that, maybe you'd look at Frimpong. But for our system and the way we play, it's just not the right type of player. Do I like Ange Postecoglou? I do, yeah. I think he's a very straightforward fella. I'd imagine you'd have a grand chat with him as well if you're out for a night or a meal or something like that. Peter said, as a Chelsea fan, he'd be happy with top 4, winning the Conference League and going a decent run in the FA Cup before the season. I thought you'd win the Champions League. Now, I'm not sure, as it's difficult to win both, and I think you'll win the Prem. Look, either of those two, and I'm over the moon, Peter. You know, I dare not even dream about the big double yet. The Champions League and Premier League double. I mean, if Arne Slot wins either of the two big ones in his first year, I mean, what can you say other than, wow, fantastic. But yeah, I'm not dreaming that far ahead yet. Hoarder said, gifted a membership. Thank you, mate. Really kind of you. Right, Rusba. Let me get this super chat up before I finish up. Said, it's weird that we're not linked to a good right back. What are we going to do if Trent leaves? We can't just hope he stays and not be proactive. I get where you're coming from, but I guess what I would say is we're also not being linked to many central midfielders, and we know damn well that that's a position we definitely need to strengthen. So I wouldn't say that the club haven't got their eye on one or two. I would be quite sure that they have, as well as Bradley, the youngster that we brought in from Aberdeen as well, Calvin Ramsey. I'm sure we have a plan. Maybe the club are just putting all the eggs in the getting Trent to stay basket. I don't know, mate, but Yeah, I haven't really thought about right backs too much either, to be honest, because I don't want to think of a world where Trent doesn't stay. Look, my voice is absolutely strained from this cough and stuff I've had, so I'm going to say goodnight to you all, but I will see you tomorrow for the late night agenda, 8:45. The preview for the Fulham game is coming out at 10:30, so in 14 minutes time. Keep an eye out, that's going to be dropping, and let me know your thoughts on it if you give it a watch. Thank you to everyone that joined us today. Thank you to everyone that's commented, sent super chats, hit the like button. We really appreciate all of you, and we'll see you tomorrow. And of course, don't forget again, the game coming up on Saturday will be live from 1:45. Much love, my friend. We'll talk